Let's talk 034 upper control arms. So, let me explain first the type of car I was after whenever I made this, and the reason I'm making the channel. So, I have a 2014 Audi S7. It has an APR Stage 1 ECU tune and the TCU tune from APR as well. ECS inlets, ECS intake, I don't know, just a plethora of stuff at this point. Right, so the car is getting a little more powerful. It's throwing things around. It's getting old. It's 84,000 miles now. It's from 2014. Although the mileage is great for the year, it's not going to last forever, right? So we have parts that fail. Well, I started to have some creaks and groans going over some bumps at low speed, and I'm talking like 0 to 3 miles per hour. It was very annoying, but it didn't sound like my car was going to fall apart. The parts didn't sound that bad, right? And so for a lot of people, they probably would have just left it as it is. I'm not one of those people. You know, I prefer to be able to go 100 miles an hour if I want to with my seat massagers on. I prefer to be able to talk to the person in the passenger side seat. Now, everybody is subjective to NVH. A little more NVH is something everyone is a little different to. Like, some people prefer race cars. Whenever I was in my 20s, I had a Lexus SC300 that you could drag leaves and drag solo cups down the road with, turn sideways. And I mean, it was a fun car for my 20s. I'm a little older than that now, right? So having a lower car and all that stuff is great, but I do prefer the comfortable ride. I prefer to be able to put my car in dynamic mode and enjoy it, and I also prefer to be able to drop it back to comfort and take my time without having to worry about, you know, hearing clanking or rubbing noises or thunking or anything else. Like, I want that smooth ride when I'm on comfort. I don't mind a dynamic. If you want to sound like the car is about to be full-on IndyCar and dynamic, that's great. But in comfort mode, I do expect it to stay comfortable. So Audi has made a pretty good design from the factory as far as the upper control arms go. The lower control arms, little bit more slop in them, right? And I can see why, because of the way the suspension geometry is from the factory and the way that they do it. The thrust arm is hydraulic, so you're changing things around, right? You're changing Audi's formula that they've already designed and developed. Now, here's the thing with that design that they've made. They designed it for one particular type of person. And so I can honestly say everything in this car has been amazing as it sits so far. And I just wanted to tweak that a little harder, right? And so the 034 upper control arms supposedly are a higher stiffness of rubber than the factory, which, let me tell you, whenever you've got 600 or whatever horsepower this car is, I don't even know, you don't want things moving around too much whenever you floor it. Like, that's bad, right? And if we think about it, it's the reason why we do our center support braces. We don't want things flopping around. It's also the reason that I highly recommend one of your first modifications that you do on this car is the differential brace, because I've now personally seen people explode differentials stock. I've seen them explode them with a DS1. So, by the way, do that first before you do anything. If you're watching this and you don't have that done, go back and do it. Like, that should be your first mod. As you can hear, I'm on comfort bed right now. The 034 mounts sound fine. The upper control arms sound great. I'm gonna switch it to dynamic right now. You'll hear it drop because of the transmission. Now I'm gonna upshift to 7th, or 6th in this case. And you can tell, right? Not louder. Overall, during the install, I probably wanted to scream only a few times. I'm a little older now, right? So it takes me a little longer to remember things as I go through them, right? Like, the last car I worked on was an SC300 with a 2JZ that was built. So overall, the 034 Motorsport's upper control arm kit, great buy. I have no problems with the rubber. I have no problems with vibrations, harmonics, anything. It's all been great. I am changing the lower control arms, and I'm changing the thrust arm this weekend, so I will have more updates on that. I do intend on uploading more footage, so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's subscribed so far. This car is meant to be the embodiment of what I feel is a great project car and a great build. And I encourage everybody to do their own work when possible. Know your limits too. Don't mess with the ACC system, for example, when you don't know what you're doing, right? Know your limits. It's okay. For the rest of everyone else that's waiting on the install video, you're going to see the upper control arms are stupid easy to get to. And even so, the lower control arms and the thrust arms are pretty easy to get to as well. The problem that comes is having the right tools, having the right torque settings available whenever you go to work on it, right? Because you don't want to just start trying to research this stuff in the middle of it. And also just having patience. I'm not in my 20s anymore, so I told my wife I'm gonna have all this finished this weekend. She kind of laughed at me. I was like, no, I got this, right? No, I didn't get it all done on the weekend, so, and that's okay. You know, this weekend I'm gonna go back at it again and do the lower control arms and do the thrust arms, and so that gives me more chance to take my time, do a better job with footage moving forward, get you some great angles. I don't want to discount, there is Cameron from Audi C7 Owners YouTube channel. He does a lot of great videos, and honestly, without his initial videos, I'd have been scared to death to work on this car as it sat. So I do want to give a shout out to him and just say I appreciate those. So I'm not trying to replace what he's doing over there. I'm giving some different install angles, some different reviews, opinions, you know, right? Because you want to hear everybody's opinion. Maybe some, like I said, some different install views, because there's a couple of things that are a little older now that he's done. And then in addition, I have a 4.0. His channel is primarily for the 6-cylinder with the supercharger, or the V6 turbo, whatever, you know, the A6s and the A7s. And there are some differences, right? There are a lot of suspension components that are similar, but like going to do my upper control arms, I had to ask TJK Motorsport, what am I looking at here, right? And he was awesome enough to answer me, like, follow my lowering fork videos. When you get to this, just stop and do what you would normally do. And it's like, okay, man, that made me feel great. So I do want to give a shout out to them as well. TJK Motorsports has just been TGK Motorsport. Sorry, buddy. They've been great. Their sway bars, amazing. They have plenty of parts in their intakes. Everything's just great. I've gone a bit of a different route, and I had a lot of my parts already before they came onto the scene, or I knew about them, or else I probably would have purchased more of this stuff. So again, shout out to both parties. But I do want to say thank you to everybody, and to subscribe and like and all that stuff, because I do intend on bringing more content. So thank you, and I hope to hear forward from you via comments and all that other stuff. So don't feel bad. Thanks.